SABC News, independent and impartial.
Select Committee on Cooperative Governance
SABC News, independent and impartial. You know what time it is? I am addicted. Like every other shirtless fanatic out here, I crave the rush of the game. The satisfaction of a goal so hard that it grinds my teeth. The feeling that the world does not exist outside of the time left on the clock. So call me a junkie, call me insane, call me addicted, but don't call me during the game. This is the Ultimate Sports Show with Thomas Mlambo. Weeknights 6 till 7 p.m. Exclusive to Metro FM. Jersey number 10, Thomas Mlambo.
I hope you guys are having a fantastic public holiday today. And yes, we're still with you with the Ultimate Sports Show. Jersey number 10 does not rest. We keep going. We keep playing. We keep attacking. We keep giving you what you want when it comes to the world of sport. And today, we're going to be dribbling a couple of topics that I'm sure you are keen to find out more about. Firstly, the big topic of the day that we'll be talking about will be Kaizer Chiefs winning that arbitration, right? They had won the arbitration. They've got the opportunity as it stands right now to play those two games against Golden Arrows as well as Cape Town City that they couldn't play when COVID-19 struck the team and over 30 players were positive for COVID-19. However, Mandla Shabalala, seasoned lawyer, a man who represented Polokwane City when they were in a similar situation last season, he's going to tell us his view on this, because what we're hearing on the Ultimate Sports Show is that there is a lot of discontent. There's even a meeting taking place at the PSL tomorrow to discuss this situation. It's not that it's all over just yet. Let's find out more on that. And then we'll go to Formula One with Avon Middleton, who's a writer, the publisher for Top Gear magazine here in South Africa. He's also a former Formula One analyst. And what a race it was in Bahrain yesterday with Ferrari's back. Ferrari is back. Oh, that red Ferrari is back. I'm so happy. So that's the show. And obviously, you'll get a chance to react because there's many things that I need to get a reaction from you from. I'll talk about those things right after this as I give you my thoughts.
Share all the sporting thrills with Betway. Visit betway.co.za. Bet your way with Betway.
Happy New Week. Did you know that you can win a share of 1 million rand in cash prizes with Betway? A Mega Million promotion. Check out more details on the website and don't miss out. Betway.co.za. You heard right. A share of 1 million rand in cash prizes with Betway.
Bet on your favorite teams and leagues online, anytime and anywhere with Betway. Visit betway.co.za.
Yo, all I need is one mic.
It's time for Thomas and Lumbo's Ultimate Thoughts of the Day.
Nothing gonna stop me now.
The Ultimate Thoughts of the Day with Thomas and Lumbo.
Hi guys, this weekend I had so much sports, so much. You sat in front of the TV, you could not move for 48 hours. Literally, there was just too much to watch. So there's so much to react on, and this is what I want to give you a chance to give me your views on. Let's start out with things that affect us here in South Africa. The Caf Champions League probably at the top of the list with the Mamelodi Sundowns. Tell me what you think. I mean, Onyango sent off with, 10 minutes on the clock. They play 80 minutes in Al Hilal in Sudan in 35-degree heat to Sundowns, and they win 4-2. Can you understand? Morena with a brace. 4-2, 10 men. I know. If you want to react, Sandawana, tell me what you're thinking about that one. Yeah, and also maybe we can talk about that red card. You know, Onyango, what did he do wrong there? A lot of Sundowns fans unhappy with the decision that took place there, despite winning. Pirates winning away from home as well in the CAF Confederations Cup. And that's big because both teams, Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, have qualified for the next round. They go through to the quarterfinals of the Confederations Cup as well as the Champions League. So it's big. React. Tell me what you think there as Pirates win away in Algeria. Were you surprised, Paganias? Were you surprised? Were you like, wow, Pirates and a clean sheet on top of it after the worries and the problems they've been having defensively? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear there. In the PSL, there were only 4 games this last weekend. 2 finished with draws, 2 finished with victories. And the victories went to Golden Arrows. Kaizer Chiefs, guys. Kaizer Chiefs losing ground on the leaders at the top of the DStv Premiership. And if you want to discuss that, we can. This is the opportunity for you to react on that situation there. The loss of ground as Golden Arrows get all of the points with that 1-0 victory. Early goal from Mutizwa. Huge mistake from Matoho. How are you feeling? I mean, it happened a long time ago. It happened on Saturday. Are you still feeling something about how that went on Monday? I want to hear from you. Cape Town City beating Marumo Gallants. That was a big one as well, with Nodata finding the score sheet there late in the game. So those are the issues locally. And then we can go to cricket locally because the Proteas winning, right? And what a great victory for the Proteas. 7 wickets against Bangladesh. Bangladesh clapped us just a couple of days before that. And then we're like, yo, but now when we're wearing pink, we're unbeatable. That's just how it is. And we go on to win that one. 7 wickets, 76 balls to go. The Bangladeshis only put on 194 runs for the loss of their 9 wickets, and it was never going to be enough. Kagiso Rabada was devastating. 5 wickets for the loss of just 39 runs. He was just on fire. And then with the bat to take us home, Quinton de Kock, 62 or 41 balls. Carl Bahrain coming through with 58 not out. And Temba Mavuma chipping in there with 37 handy runs along the road. So that was important. Very, very important. I'm happy with that. Staying with the cricket, though. Midnight tonight, when it goes to midnight tonight, you need to be in front of your TV screens watching the Proteas women, right, at the ICC Cricket World Cup. Tell me what you're feeling. Are you excited? This is like the final before the final. We play Australia. Both teams, South Africa's women as well as the Australian women, are undefeated, and I'm annoyed because when I went on Google, right, and I looked at the fixture and I wanted to see what time the match is going to be kicking off, midnight. You know, they have this graph at the bottom. Google does their own maths and whatever, and it says win probability, and it had Australia on 83% chance of winning before the match has even started. So why are we even showing up, Google? Why? Our Proteas women are undefeated as well. Not even like 60-40, 83%. No, let's show them, Proteas women. Let's show them what we can do and get another victory. We won 4 out of 4. The Australians have won 5 out of 5. It is a massive encounter at midnight tonight in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. And then football stories. Now we're moving overseas. The Clásico. Real Madrid fans. At home. 4-0 at home. 40% possession. 4 shots on target at home. Is like Real Madrid a one-man team? Like, is it just Benzema? Without Benzema, there's no Real Madrid. That's what happened on the weekend, right? In the El Clasico. Barcelona smashing them. And then if you're an Arsenal fan, let's talk about Aubameyang a little bit. He saw 7 goals in 7 games since he left you, 7 in 7. You guys are breathing deep there in the Premier League, worried about whether you're going to make the Champions League. You know, you're in 4th position now. But if Aubameyang was there scoring these kind of goals, was it a good decision? Are you happy he's gone? Gunners, where are you? Let's talk. As Aubameyang scores a brace against Real Madrid, 4-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu. It doesn't change the situation as far as the log table is concerned, though. Madrid still sit on top of the table, 66 points. And the gap is big. It's still 9 points to the second team, Sevilla. But Barcelona moving up with those 3 points, and they now move on to 54 points on the La Liga log table. And then there was some motorsport that took place with the Formula One. Charles Leclerc is the winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix. The Red Bull cars just falling apart, just stopping. But I don't want to go too deep into that because we're going to have a conversation later in the show where we discuss all of what happened as far as the Formula One is concerned. So stay with the show for more of that. But what I want from you, though, is if you're a Ferrari fan, are you feeling it? Like, are you happy? Like Ferrari winning, like they haven't won in years. Like that red car hasn't crossed the line first in years. But they found something this season in the opening race coming through 1 and 2. If you're a Ferrari fan, share it with us. The emotion of finally being able to call those Red Bull fans and call those Mercedes fans that you watch with and say, we won. Woo-wee, hey, at long last, we won. Good news in Motogp. That's the Formula One of motorbikes. Over the weekend, we saw the Binders, the two Binder brothers, Brad Binder, as well as his brother in Darren Binder. They finished in the top 10, so that's decent, you know. Brad coming 8th, Darren Binder coming in 10th position. And that's amazing. I mean, our 2 brothers like racing in the very pinnacle of motorcycle racing and doing okay. Coming in a top 10 finish there for both of them. FA Cup, Chelsea Crystal Palace. That's the semi-final. Man City Liverpool. That's the other semi-final after this weekend's matches. And the last story I want us to react to very quickly, guys, because it's all about Monday and your reactions, is Bafana, right? A couple of changes to the squad that Hugo Bruce had initially called. Percy Tau was out. He's injured. And that means Victor Letualo gets a call up to the squad. And Tapelo Morena, he was a late call. He arrived in the squad injured, so he will not be replaced, it looks like. But he's out of the Bafana setup for the matches against Guinea as well as against France later on this month. Those are the stories that you need to tell me about. Let's get to a couple of your voice notes already.
Have your say and call Thomas. Okay. On 089 110 or get in touch with the Ultimate Sports Show via WhatsApp on 079 585 6157.
Good evening, Thomas and the listeners. Gusia APE. Thomas, and I want to talk about the Kaizer Chiefs. I do not know why Stuart Baxter is still the Kaizer Chiefs coach. 2, I do not know why Kaizer Chiefs still relies on players that have been playing nonsense since the time of Steve Kombela. Your Parkers, your Manyamas, and many others. Abokadoso. I don't know Nabomato. I don't know why those players are still at Kaizer Chiefs.
Playing nonsense.
So please,
Man
Kaizer
of the match
Motaung and your family
at the derby,
fire
Bernard
Stuart
Parker.
Baxter with immediate effect.
How? Playing nonsense. Bernard Parker was man of the match at the Soweto derby the other day. Anyway, that's your opinion. Let's keep it going.
Good evening, Thomas. This is Phil. Look, with the Chiefs case, this is what you get, when you have club bosses who are also running the league. There'll always be a conflict of interest, Some clubs are favored more than others. We have the same case with Polokwane City, and the outcome was different. But now, because it's a bigger club, the club is being favored. Obviously, there's a big, conflict of interest, and results are swayed, in the big club's favor. And when it comes to Sundowns, in the CAF competitions, actually Sundowns almost win Pirates, the refereeing has been disgusting, in CAF. Mutsib, I don't know what Mutsib is going to do to improve, the standards of refereeing in Africa. Years and years been complaining about the same thing. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, I don't know. That red card, Onyango, there is an interpretation that says he denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So I don't know. Check out Soccer Zone tonight as we talk about those decisions and give you a sense of whether those referees were wrong or right. But to say they were disgusting and horrible, you guys are spicy on a Monday. It's a holiday. Let's go to Deboho, who's calling us out of Bloemfontein. Deboho, how are you? How are you in Bloem?
I'm fine, thanks for you, Thomas.
Good. You're with your jersey number 10. What jersey are you wearing?
What jersey do I wear? Number 1.
Goalkeeper. Hey, the last line of defense. We love it. So tell me, what do you want to call about? What do you want to discuss with me?
Oh, no, I just wanted to discuss in terms of the Arsenal situation. As much as we did lose, I guess, a striker, for us, he wasn't doing what he's doing at Barcelona. And I'm both an Arsenal and a Barca fan. So for me, I'm happy because both my teams are winning. But I don't think we need to look, as Arsenal fans, I don't think we need to look at him, look back and say, no, but he could have been scoring these goals for us. Because he's not. Ever since he left, except Liverpool and Man City, we've been playing good football, attractive football, and getting the results.
Except for the teams that you really want to be competing about, right? If you're Arsenal, you want to be able to say, we fight and we win against Man City, we win against Liverpool. Otherwise, are you as good as those teams? You're just there in the league, right? Don't say except Liverpool and except Man City. That's the competition. Those are the guys you want to beat.
For Arsenal, we're in a rebuilding phase, and I personally think that we were 3-4 signings away from competing, not necessarily winning the league, but going and saying, okay, now we can beat Man City, now we can beat Liverpool. Will we win the league with 3 or 4 signings? No, I think maybe give us 2-3 years with the current manager, and if not, then I think it's time for him to go.
Debo, Oxalayo, Aubameyang is scoring for Barcelona. Oxalayo. He's scoring.
That's good for him.
And he
but
left
we are
for
winning
free.
too. It's a
For
win-win.
free. Not even money. Free via. You guys are generous. Yo. All right.
What would you have done?
On the salary that he was on, you talk to the guy. You make him come right.
We made him the captain of the club, our highest paid player.
Yeah.
And no, but as a captain, man, imagine Pirates' captain shows up late for Pirates versus First Chiefs. It's like hard dog, you're the captain. Come on.
Hey, okay, Arsenal fans, that's Tebogo Bloom giving his sense. I've got to go to a break. Doctor, I'm coming back to you very shortly. Don't leave the line, Doctor. I'm loving the reactions you're giving me already. We're going to have that conversation on the arbitration that Kaizer Chiefs won with SAFA around the games that were not played with COVID-19. That conversation is coming up. Doc, stay on the line. We're going to a break.
Hi, my name is Zonobele. If you are a man living with HIV like I am, then Mina for Men for Health is for you. Mina for Men for Health is designed to inspire, support, encourage, and empower any man living with HIV to take ownership of their health journey. You can speak to a healthcare worker at your nearest clinic about Mina for Men for Health, and they'll provide you with educational information and support networks that will keep you motivated to take care of yourself. Trust me, I know it's possible to live a normal, healthy, and long life with HIV. Find out more on their Facebook page, Mina for Men for Health.
Metro FM and Camden are teaming up once again to bring you the hashtag Metro Million competition. To enter, get an affordable loan from Camden and stand a chance to win your share of 1 million rand. Simply apply today at camden.co.za. SMS your SAID number to 33005 or visit any PEP or Ackman store now. To win big, tune in to Metro FM for March 26th and wait for us to call you. Make sure you answer with a catchphrase. Hashtag Metro Million with Captain. Metro FM and Captain want to make your dreams of winning come true. Hashtag Metro Million. Brought to you by Captain, a registered credit provider. For more competition details, check out metrofm.co.za or Metro FMSA on Facebook or Twitter. Standard rates and T's and C's apply. Promotion ends 21 April 2022. Metro FM. It's where you're at.
All right, our next caller is Doctor. Doctor, tell me, if I'm wearing number 10, are you wearing number 15?
No. Sorry, Thomas, man. I just want to touch on. I heard on the line that you're talking about Arsenal. I'm a Gunners fan, so
yeah,
I'm not happy about that. Yes,
Arsenal fan.
I can see that Arteta is trying so hard to, but the way he's fielding his team, I'm not so happy about it.
Bring back Aubameyang.
No, not that we must bring back Aubameyang, but in the absence of Aubameyang, you can see now that Lacazette is under pressure now. You've been fielding him in each and every game. Even you can see that he's not fit for the game, but he's still feeding him on. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Will you get to the Champions League this season? Next season, will you be there?
Hopefully.
Oh, hopefully. What fan are you hoping? No, you must say yes or no. Doc is gone. Hey, he felt like it was too much pressure there. Drops the phone just before he had to say, I don't think so. Let's get to the voice notes.
Good evening, Mr. Mlambo, sir. Yeah, this is Noah CWG. So, I just want to comment regarding Orlando Pirates. I'm super proud of the boys. Going out there performing that well in Algeria. I'm proud. I'm proud of Orlando Pirates.
Thank you.
The Sea Robbers, more especially a celebration. I'm super happy. For Runyaoza, that goal means a lot to him. He plays for the badge. He showed hunger, passion, emotions. So
love it.
I'm so happy for the guys.
Good evening, Thomas, and greetings to all the Metro listeners.
Yeah.
This is Joel in Watville, in Benoni. I just want to congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns for such a massive win outside this country. it wouldn't have been easy, taking into consideration with that the temperatures, the weather was so hot. But nonetheless, they showed how good they are.
Good evening to you, jersey number 10, your team, and South Africa at large. Well, there's a lot on my plate. However, due to time constraints, I'll try to bite here and there. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate my team, my Melody Sundowns. I'm sure we'll all agree that the officiating on that game was very poor. Be that as it may, I think we are beginning to show the experience on the competition, which is number 10, because we've been in that competition for a while now. So now the boys and as well as the technical team are beginning to show the experience. In as far as the facilities FC is concerned, the only thing they will win this season, which is number 10, is the arbitration. That's the only thing they'll win this season. As long as they still have Maguire's cousin, or should I say Tyson's brother.
Spice. Yo, people are shooting top corner goals here today. Yo. All right. I've got Mandla Shabalala on the line already, our seasoned lawyer who's going to discuss the arbitration outcome. He worked on the case for Polokwane City that went against them, so it's going to be interesting to get his perspective. But I've got Aja on the line out of East London. Very quickly, Aja, before we go to that other conversation, I had to squeeze you in. How are you? I'm your jersey number 10. Hola, Aja.
How's it, Pratomito?
Oring.
Yeah, Manuela.
Sharp, can't complain.
Yeah.
Holiday.
And I just want to understand the part of football, man. I watched Orlando Pirates game last night. I'm Orlando Pirates supporter.
Thank you.
But I want to understand about the red card Goodman Musele, man. Goodman. Yeah, abantu Africa. No. Abadala
Marangiti, we'll talk about it. Soccer Zone in Dota. You join us 8 o'clock on the SABC Sports Channel or 10 go SABC 1. We're going to analyze Goodman Musele.
No, I will do. Otherwise, congratulations on my man. Hey, Tara.
Yeah. You sound happy, man. You sound happy.
Always I'm happy, man.
Happy person.
I just want to say to management the Pirates and the supporters of the Orlando Pirates, they must be patient with Manda Nugas, no Farm David. Things will turn around, man. Yeah, sure, thanks.
Sure. There you go. A happy Bagania. When's the last time you heard that joy, that happy people like vibe coming through from Pirates supporters? I've got who? Silent in Alberton. Silent, welcome to the show. How are you, Silent?
I'm good, and you, brother.
I'm very good, Silent. So what do you want to talk about? This is your chance to discuss it with the nation.
Okay, I'm an Arsenal supporter. I want to talk about Arsenal.
Sure, Ghana.
Yeah. It's good that Aubameyang is scoring. Yes, I'm even proud of him. He's doing a great job. But one thing which I think also, which we also forget, is Barcelona and Arsenal, they play different type of soccer. Barcelona is a team whereby they create chances for the strikers to score. Whereas if you look in Arsenal, it's not a good team. It's a good team which they have their own type of playing soccer, whereby they attack from the wings coming inside. In other words, I'm trying to say they create lesser chances than those ones in Barcelona. So the reason why Aubameyang is scoring, if you look at it right now, is Barcelona has got better midfielders who can create chances for him to score. Whereas in Arsenal, we were lacking such midfield.
So, Silent, let's just shortcut it. Why don't you just say Arsenal is bab?
Pardon?
Why don't you just say Arsenal is bab?
Yes, you can say that, but I want to say no. Yes, my team here they failed to position him on the right position. But Arsenal is a good.
Silence is gone.
We are getting there.
All right, there you go. Silence says Arsenal are getting there. Mandla Shabalala, top lawyer, man who represented Polokwane City last season when they had to deal with a case around COVID-19, not being able to field enough players, and then I guess ultimately losing their case. Mandla Shabalala now is going to be the one giving us light on the current situation with Kaizer Chiefs. They win the arbitration, and yet, Mandla, welcome to the show, and yet we get a sense in the universe and from football quarters that it is not universally celebrated that Kaizer Chiefs will have that opportunity to play against Golden Arrows and Cape Town City. Why? Why is everyone not just glad this thing is going to finish on the pitch?
Good evening, Thomas, and good evening to Metro FM listener.
Evening.
Well, Thomas, it does happen that you go to a court, they give you a decision or judgment, and you go to a different court, they give you a different decision from a different court. So you must remember that they appeared before an arbitrator who never sat on the Polokwane case matter last season.
So what's your reaction? Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Are you thinking this is a fair decision? Great, fantastic.
Well, it's obviously it's not a fair decision, but it happens, and that's why you've got the legal proceedings so that you can follow if you're not happy with something.
What's not fair?
With a decision.
What's not?
I would like a situation where I see the league actually taking this matter on an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. When we appeared, we were charged. When I'm saying we, Polokwane City last season.
Yeah, tell us the story.
We were charged with the failure to fill the 5 required number of players. But the reason for that was that 3 of the under 23 players were tested positive to COVID.
Mm.
But again, there was that rule. I'm not going to go back to it, but the last time I appeared, I read you the regulation verbatim, the resolution that was taken by PSL that became a law, that there would not be any postponement of matches as a result of positive COVID test results.
Let me read that very quickly. This happened on the 3rd of August in 2020.
Yes.
And the line that is key here in that circular that all the clubs agreed to was that COVID-19 reasons do not and will not constitute exceptional reasons justifying a postponement. That's the line that's key right there. Everyone agreed. COVID-19 cannot postpone a football match. They agreed.
Yeah. And what is interesting is that even in that hearing, a representative of the league came in as a witness for Skukuni and actually spoke about that, emphasizing that is the stand of the league at the time.
Mm.
Now, you've got 2 contradicting judgments, and now it needs to be clear as to where does the league draw the lines. Because already there's teams that have suffered prejudice as a result of that. And my biggest fear is that if Polokwane says to me today, Manda, then we have to take action based on this position. Then what we do and what will then happen should we be successful retrospectively. I'm told, I'm not so sure, that Royal AM has taken this matter on Caf. Now, wherever they are so excited. I would be excited if I was them, because I could easily go to Caf and show the inconsistency of the arbitrators in as far as this concerned.
Mm.
Hence I'm saying, sorry, Thomas, hence I'm saying I would like to see a situation, and I'm sure they are, the league planning how to take this matter on an appeal before Caf or in review, I don't know on which grounds. But again, the difficulty that we are sitting with, me and you and your listeners, is that we don't know exactly what happened in the arbitration, whatever the presentation. But again, what is very interesting, Thomas, is that I also heard that the legal representative that represented Kukune at the time, who were advocating for the implementation of this resolution, were now saying that resolution is incorrect. So it's very interesting.
What I want to understand, though, is this circular, the document that came out in 2020, the teams all agreed to it, that, COVID-19 would not be a reason for a postponement of a football match in the top division of South African football, in the top two divisions. Was it binding? Is it something that, there's no wiggle room, there was no maras, except for maybe, some way to get around it?
If you go through, you go down on that document. It said it's binding and can only be set aside by a meeting of that nature. I'm not reading the verbatim, or obviously by a court of law, which that has never happened in my understanding. That circular or that resolution has not been set aside as yet. It's still operational. So until somebody says to us that thing has been set aside and then it's normal rules of football, then it's something else.
Here's the problem, though. We can have the document, and the document, we can understand why they brought it out. We can understand the reasons for it, but we can also see that practically nobody planned for a situation where 30 players would have COVID-19 at one football club. What?
Yes.
There was no contingency. No one, even in their wildest dreams, thought that would be the case. This document clearly, if I look at it, was one to prevent a team from saying, I've got 3 guys down, 4 guys down. Let me just postpone this game. I'll play them another day because, it doesn't suit me right now. So it was one of those to prevent that. And then suddenly we have a completely, from nowhere, 30 players, one club. What must happen now?
You see, that's why I also had a problem with the people who voted on that document to be operational. Because you must remember, that was not the only executive position. It went to the BOT, the Board of Governors, where all the clubs, PSL and the NFC are represented. So a decision was taken there and then mandated the NEC then to make those regulations. At the time, I thought the team that were going to be most hit hard by the rules was the NFC players, or South Africa players, a team. Simply because of the under-23 rule. Because even the circular says teams are then allowed to register amateur players. So they could register them with an amateur status. Then your PSL teams have got NBC teams which they could easily register all of them as backup players. That something happened. But with the NFC teams, South Africa teams, they don't have such a luxury of such a number of players. That's why at the time I thought the South Africa teams would be most it hard. But then it happens to choose with a number of players, including the NCC players. Then that's why you realize how serious this thing is. And I'm sure some of the chairman of the club, when they sat in their wherever they were sitting, they thought maybe we made a mistake by agreeing to this regulation. Because I mean, there's a club, Cape Town,
Cape Moya.
What? Cape Moya. Same thing happened to them.
It did.
They were docked to the points.
And
now
City.
You ask yourself about the consistency. The Polokwane City again.
You lost the points. Did you lose the points?
Well, I agreed with at the time. We agreed with the disciplinary committee of just taking the points from the team, but not awarding them to Skukune until Skukune took the matter on appeal to arbitration. They were fighting for the points, and they got the points. Now, why is the same thing not applicable now in this case? Because from where I was sitting,
because it's 30 players.
It was straightforward.
Because it's around, it was over 30 players and coaches, and the whole club shut its doors, and everyone was in isolation at Kaizer Chiefs. Whereas at Polokwane City, it was 5, right? 5 players were down. Yeah. There's a difference, right?
Players, and the only affected was 1 player, the under 23 player. So you still had the 4 under 23 players. Well, the rules say you must have 5 under 23 players on the same shift, but you must have 2 playing at all material time. So there were 2 players playing, under 23 players playing at all material times, except that at the place there were only 2 instead of 3.
Right. I just want to read what Kaizer Chiefs had to say. They put out a statement, it was on Friday afternoon, right, after the decision came through from the arbitrator, Mr. Kasim. And Kaizer Chiefs are pleased that justice has been served by the arbitration ruling handed down at SAFA on Friday afternoon by advocate Nazir Kasim SC after the club challenged the league's decision to charge Amakhosi for being unable to fulfill 2 fixtures due to a massive COVID-19 outbreak that befell us in December 2021. The decision we took to request the postponement of the matches late last year was in the interest of the safety of all concerned, our families, football colleagues, and all the stakeholders involved in the game. And now that the matches will be played, it is in the interest of football that points should be won or lost through matches played on the field of play as opposed to the boardrooms. We want to thank everyone who supported our cause. We are also grateful this ruling will return the value to our sponsors, Amakhosi supporters, and the league sponsors. We truly feel vindicated by the decision and look forward to playing the 2 outstanding DStv Premiership matches. So there's their perspective on it, and it seems done and dusted as far as Chiefs are concerned.
Yeah, that's an award until it's set aside by another, in this case by CAS or by a court of law when we take it on review. But that's Kasim for you. Kasim is an arbitrator who believes that football must be played on the field of play.
Yes.
These other things, he does not entertain them so much, but he wants football to be played on the field of play. But as I say in my opening line is that it will be interesting to see the league challenging the arbitrators award.
What I'd be interested in, though,
because the league, that's their document that they need to protect. And then some of their members have suffered prejudice because of the very same document. Now, I don't see them sitting back and say, well, we accept what the arbitrator said. Then what about their integrity as a league? And they've applied a rule where an official of the league came and testified and advocating for the implementation of the document.
You know, Mandla, I always thought that an arbitration was final and binding if you agreed to go to arbitration. So
it's final and binding internally.
PSL agreed to go to arbitration with Kaizer Chiefs.
Look, there's CAS, there's Court of Arbitration for Sport. If you appeal it, then you can take it to CAS and appeal the decision of the arbitrator.
So I got paid.
Domestically, yes. Not domestically in South Africa, yes. But you can take it to the highest court of sport, which is in Switzerland. Then it can be unless you want to take it on a review, not an appeal, but a review something different. Then you can take it to court.
Why would the PSL want to do that? I mean, the league is ending in May. We're already in April. Any kind of appeals and taking it further and even saying, like you're saying, going to Switzerland to appeal it there to the Court for Arbitration for Sport, if it gets there, or High Court in South Africa, that takes time that the league does not have.
Yes, but remember, Thomas, is that document came from the league. They believed in that document so much that now there's 2 judgments. Now the integrity of the league will be let's our decision. This is our decision, and you stand by our decision. And if another judge or arbitrator says something contrary to what the document says, what does it say? What does it say about you as a league? So we will indirectly say you're protecting the other members you don't care about. In this case, one will say they don't care about Polokwane City and AM, but maybe they care about you.
So
it will cause a lot of speculations, and it will just cause a lot of things.
Does this ruling basically mean that document, the one that the teams agreed to that said COVID-19 is not a reason to postpone a game? Does that mean that document is now useless? We must just
no. And you see, and it will create that impression if the league does not challenge it. It will simply say, the league doesn't even care about their own document. But the challenge was not about the document itself; it was about the game. And the document, when you go down, it says this is binding and can only be set aside by another body similar to that of the league, which means you can take it to court. This should have been a very nice matter to take it to a court review, because there's a lot of constitutional issues that are involved in there. There's the right to life. the right to health, because COVID is a killer. How do you then say I must not postpone the matches if I'm sick? So you're saying you don't care about my sickness. So there's a lot of issues that are involved in that document, and I wonder what went into the minds of the teams when they adopted that. I wish I could have been the POG and hear the reasons as to why then they agreed to that document. Because, I mean, you look in England, for example, or Europe, when a team suffered what Chiefs suffered, they will apply and they'll be granted to postpone a match. Because they understand that this thing is a killer and there's an implication of a life. So as to why we did it, I don't understand. And that's why what we did when we went to Proof Honesty, we knew about the document, but we were trying to show the arbitrators and the team members that this is not practical. If I'm to test tonight, I'm playing tomorrow, my results are coming out in the morning, and my entire team or half of my entire team is test positive. What do I do?
How do you register?
Yes.
I hear you. Manda, last question.
Take the match and not just go. But seriously, I would want this to see the league really challenging it, just to bring certainty about its own document.
Manda, last question. If you were advising, hypothetically, you were the man that was called up by, say, Cape Town City or Golden Arrows, what would your advice be in their circumstance right now?
I would say they must take it on appeal together with the league, and they must force the league to join, to be the joiner in the matter, just for certainty. I think, because if you leave these things hanging like this, what's the integrity of the league? The integrity of the league will be shaken. I would take it on an appeal, just for certainty. We must remember something, Thomas. Sometimes you don't take the matters on an appeal just to win, or so that the results are favorable to you. Sometimes you want certainty. You want to close up something. You need someone to say, no, this is not the case, this is the case. And that's why I feel the league should appeal it, or they must join Cape Town City and the Golden Arrows to take this matter on a case, so that there is certainty.
Right, Manda, thank you very much. Manda Shabalala, top lawyer, was involved with Polokwane City's case last year, where they had COVID-19 cases, but ultimately at the end of the day, when the dust settled, they lost the points from that encounter based on some of the very similar circumstances to this Kaizer Chiefs outbreak of COVID-19. Hey, this one's tough. You guys can tell me what you think. Let's move on. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's kick it into high gear with Avon Middleton. He's the man who writes for Top Gear South Africa magazine. He's a man who's the publisher of that magazine, and he's also a former SABC Sport motorsport analyst. So no one better placed in this country to give us a perspective on what happened with the F1 over the weekend. Avon, it's good to have you back on the Ultimate Sports Show. How are you?
I'm well, brother. I'm well.
You must be.
If one is back,
you must be happy, right? Like your drug is back.
I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy, and Formula One's been amazing these last few seasons. But how has it started? It started on an incredibly good note. So I'm very happy. Yeah, I've got my fix.
Good note. I'm hearing a little bit of that red blood coursing through your veins. I'm hearing the stallions running behind you. Are you a Ferrari fan?
I'm entirely neutral, officially.
Except that you feel like it started great and Ferrari got 1 and 2. So you're starting to show your colors. Okay, as a neutral though, how good is this for Formula One to have Ferrari back at the top of the podium?
Look, I think it's incredible. It's incredible for the sport. It's incredible for the Ferraristi, the huge Ferrari fan base out there. And, they've waited a long time for this. So, but I think, what's also great is, as much as you look at the result and you see 2 Ferraris on top, the story getting there wasn't so simple. It was such an epic battle with Red Bull. And, of course, they suffered reliability issues right towards the end of the race. And it was last-minute drama, as it were. And so Carlos Sainz, managed to get that second place. But, look, it's fantastic for the sport. It really is. I think Formula One wins overall. this new era of cars it seems to be delivering what Formula One's governing body wanted it to deliver, which was closer racing. I think we saw that. I mean, I continue to just look at that battle with Verstappen and Leclerc, and it was just incredible. Just 3 laps of solid, hard-fought racing, and in the end, a very feisty and clever Charles Leclerc won through. So, yeah, I think it's great. I think certainly everyone should be happy on an overall. If you're an F1 fan, you should be really happy. It was a fantastic race.
Lewis Hamilton also seemed very happy after the race. Mercedes coming in for that 3rd place. He's on the podium in a race that clearly he didn't feel like he was going to be challenging in.
No, and that's racing, I suppose. Red Bull's misfortune was Mercedes was there to pick up the pieces and pick up the points. Look, I think Mercedes is very clear are not at the level that we expect of them, not at the level that certainly the last 8 seasons have shown them to be able to do.
What's changed?
So I guess what's changed is Formula One changed. The regulations changed, and everybody essentially started on a clean slate, as it were. And it just seems like Mercedes just haven't quite gotten on top of the new regulation changes as well as Red Bull and Ferrari, for instance.
Avon, what are those key changes? What are the key things? Like maybe 1 or 2 big things that have changed in Formula One this season that could cause a team like Mercedes to lose what was a dominance, a dynasty of dominance in Formula One?
So there are a few changes, but I think ultimately what Formula One wanted to achieve was to get the racing to be closer. And so how they've done that in some ways is they've reduced the downforce that comes across from the wings, from the front wing, from the rear wing. And essentially the cars are more what they call ground effect cars. So more of the downforce essentially is being carried through from underneath the car. And I don't know if you watched testing, and it happened this weekend as well during the race, but they've talked about this phenomenon called porpoising. Essentially, it's where the car just bounces up and down at high speed. And what that does is it means you have less drag, or it means you can carry less speed down the straight.
So the cars are slower.
Car has more drag. So the car's slower. And that's what Mercedes is essentially struggling with, is they just haven't been able to run the car lower to the ground, which would give them, of course, less drag and would give them faster speed. So I don't know if you saw on the race yesterday, I mean, the Ferraris and the Red Bulls on the straight, they were incredibly quick. I think some between 11 and 17 kilometers an hour faster than the Mercedes. Sure. And if we're really looking at the whole field, the last 5 cars were all powered by Mercedes-powered engines, which I think is another issue. I think Mercedes is struggling with the actual power unit itself. And they're also struggling with managing downforce versus drag, so they're quite slow on the straight.
And you want to talk about power units. I mean, Verstappen, Perez, those Red Bull cars, did they not leave them on the charger long enough? They literally just switched off. They're like just switched off. Like we're driving, and then zoof, it's off. And that's it. Red Bull cars out.
Yeah, I think reliability is obviously very key, particularly in a new era of motorsport. They've come through testing, and what I found interesting is Red Bull were quite reliable during testing. They didn't seem to have as many issues. We saw lots of reliability issues with a few other outfits, but Red Bull certainly were not one of them. They were actually one of the smoothest operators out there. So for that to happen to essentially three Red Bull cars, of course the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, which caught a light just before the end and brought out the safety car, etc. That was the first woe. And then, of course, 2 Red Bulls literally within a lap of each other giving up right on the grid. I mean, it was you couldn't make this stuff up. And Christian Horner's said that it was a fuel system issue. But I think if you look at how it panned out, I think they seem slightly different. Max was complaining about a steering issue right from, I think it was 5 laps before the end. And then, of course, his car just gave up. And Sergio Perez's car seemed to have a hydraulic issue in terms of what it looked like. The car just snapped into turn 1.
But
and obviously
all the lights, all the electronics, everything just off. Like while you're driving. I mean, imagine that in your car. Like you're driving along and then like everything switches off in the middle of a corner. I mean, that was just crazy. And I was like, wow, this happens at Formula One. What is going on here? Should there be a concern there at Red Bull Racing? Should they be thinking to themselves, oh, goodness, there's only a week to go to the next race. How do we fix this? Here comes trouble.
Look, I think it's still too early to tell if Red Bull has sort of, let's call them long-term reliability issues. What we have to remember is that this is essentially the first season that Red Bull is essentially managing its own engine hardware. So Honda pulled out of Formula One at the end of 2021. And as much as there is a Honda-based engine in the back of those Red Bulls, they're entirely managed.
No Japanese people. No Japanese people involved anymore.
No. So now Red Bull has to manage that themselves. I think it's still too early to tell. As I said, Red Bull ran many laps during testing. They topped the timesheets during testing, and they had really no reliability issues. So I think this is just an opinion. I think we can safely assume that they'll get on top of it by this coming weekend, and they'll be fine. But I do think that reliability is going to play a slightly bigger role in 2022 than it has, say, in the past 2 or 3 seasons, where reliability has actually been really, really good for Formula One in the past. So, but hey, let's see. It's great for Mercedes. It gives them time to get their ducks in a row, and I think we can agree that they will improve and find pace. They know what's wrong. It's a case of just trying to get that sorted. And so I think it's good for them, because you have these 2 teams at the top who will probably split points over the course of the next few races, while the likes of Hamilton and Russell catch up.
What I couldn't really get to grips with was just how unhappy Verstappen sounded, though. When he went on the radio, it wasn't just like it's a complaint. Like, he just was testy, like that petulant child, who's just like, it's just not working. Like, what the hell is going on here?
Look, I think that's Max Verstappen, though. I don't think that was a surprise. It's not like we've never heard that from him before. Max is someone who is absolutely a racer at heart. He wants to win. That's it. He wants to win at all costs. And as soon as his car starts to give him trouble, he's going to shout from the rooftops and blame everybody else. And it wasn't too surprising. He was incredibly angry. But you also have to know that this is a man fighting for the win. He really had the car underneath him, and he had an opportunity on 3 occasions to overtake Charles Leclerc and keep that position, obviously, which he didn't. But I think we can describe Max as a petulant child at times. I don't think that would be amiss.
Last thing that we need to talk about here is one of the smaller stories, one of the side stories that happened at Alfa Romeo. Zhang Yu Zhou, Chinese racer in his first Formula One season, first race ever. What a performance from the young man.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we have to give credit to Alfa Romeo first. I think they've built a car that's certainly not what we've seen in the last few seasons. For Valtteri Bottas to get that 6th place, to qualify just behind Lewis Hamilton, I think is great testimony to the fact that they've built a car that's been pretty good. They are a team that had some reliability issues during testing, so the fact that they brought both cars home was great. For Zhou Guanyu, first of all, he brought the car into Q2, which, in his first ever qualifying was great. And then, of course, to bring the car for that last World Championship point,
10th place,
is fantastic. It's fantastic for the rookie. And I think he's great. I've been watching him with a keen eye. He seems to be somebody that's learning a lot and keeping the car on the track. And that's all you need to do. To bring home those points for Alpha. I mean, Valtteri Bottas brought home 8 points, and Zhou Guanyu brought home another 1. And I think that's more points than they had in the entire 2020 season.
Avon,
and they got that in the first race.
Before I let you go, Avon, last thing, seeing the cars on the track racing now, which is the best looking of the cars? Tell the truth now.
Subjective. Oh, man, I've got to say, I'm particularly I particularly like the Ferrari. I think that's the best.
Never. Really that Aston Martin looks so hot, and that Aston
looks good too.
Fire.
I think Aston, Williams. So if I had to rank them, that Ferrari looks really good. The Aston looks really good, and the Williams, they look good.
We know where you are. We know where you are.
Don't you agree though? Have you seen a Ferrari that looks that good? And then of course it goes really well as well. That's
I love it. I mean, it's it's always difficult when Ferrari is the team that's getting a hiding in Formula One. You're like, how is that? The Ferraris like losing, like it doesn't make sense. It's great to see them back, and I can't wait for the season. Avon Middleton, publisher, writer, as well as former SABC Sport motorsport analyst, giving it to you, breaking it down. You got a sense of what happened in Bahrain. Thanks, Avon, for your time tonight.
Okay, chat soon.
Yeah, hopefully we do chat soon. Always gives me some really good insights, things I didn't know when it comes to Formula One. So that's it as far as we're concerned. I hope you had a very, very great Human Rights Day. I've got Ayabonga coming in to take over with Metro FM Talk. Ayabonga, how are you?
Hey, Brother Thomas. How you doing, man?
I'm very good, Ayabonga. I can't complain, man. So yeah, what a weekend. What a weekend of sport. The reactions we had on the show were huge because there were so many different sporting events. I couldn't leave the house. Couldn't, only to come to work and then back in front of the TV.
So much to talk about. So much on this past weekend.
And your Proteas came right.
For large parts of whatever time. Finally, right? I mean, after that first ODI against Bangladesh, I wasn't sure. And I think having Quinton de Kock back was also a bit of a boon.
So what's coming up on Metro FM Talk tonight?
Yeah, so tonight we try and make sense, of course, of Human Rights Day. We also head out to the Cape Flats. You would have heard all of those horrific stories of the serial murders that, and I guess I should describe it that way. So we're going to take a look at that tonight. All of what's coming out of the Western Cape. We'll also have a chance to look at, the economic fallout of South. A lot of people talk about, what happened in 1960, what then that meant, for how the UN responded and other people. So we're going to take a look, I guess, at how the markets and the financial part of the economy responded to that. And a lot of heavy-handed responses there from the apartheid government at the time. And we're going to go go down memory lanes like that. And then we also have a chance tonight to take a look at some of the issues around socio-economic rights. Now, those, Thomas, are the rights to food, shelter, living wage, healthcare, and many other material rights. Because when we often talk about rights, I guess it's always, things that are up there in the air. But how do we make all of these human rights that we talk about flesh? How do we make them real for people? And we're going to be talking to the Executive Director at SERI, which is the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, Nomzamo Zondo, tonight.
I'm going to let you jump on that. That's Metro FM Talk coming up next. Ayabonga is going to take you through that. Thanks for being with me tonight. Human Rights Day. There's still a bit of time to enjoy it. Listen to the radio. Kick it with Ayabonga. I'm done. Your jersey number 10 continues, though, with Soccer Zone. So join me at 8 o'clock on SABC Sports channel, or 10 o'clock you can catch the repeat, but it might be the first time you're seeing it on SABC 1. Soccer Zone tonight. Lots to talk about from so many different perspectives. Doc Kumalo as well as Pomozo Manenze will be in the hot seat for that one. Tonight, though, I'm saying goodnight. See you tomorrow.